Soldiers haven't stormed beaches with this intensity since 1944. Amp Surf, rehabilitating through surfing.
USA! USA! USA!
Welcome to the opening ceremony, man.
We are getting ready to take off on our parade. We have, if I'm correct, about 30 countries here. The feeling that we're all getting is just getting that anxiety out. It's honestly a privilege to be able to represent each one of our countries, and I'm sure every single human here feels the exact same way. Remember, this is like the World Cup for us, so we're gonna show the world what we're here to do.
We're doing the Sands of the World ceremony, and it's so symbolic, uniting the world through surfing and also through all of our beaches.
Surfing, since January of this year, permanent sport in the Olympic Games. This also prepares us for this larger, difficult paddle to become a Paralympic sport in the LA 2028 Paralympic Games. We hope that this becomes a reality. It's not easy. We've been working since 2015.
The Australian Michael Foti and the French competitor Maxime Cabade. Shannon Hughes and Veaudry alongside Ben White. This is going to be a great to be able to see the action.
Yeah, it's amazing. You and I have been kind of sky tide mornings, which puts a little bit more depth in the water, allows for some more of those shoulders to kind of form out, give them some open space to do some cutbacks and give them more variety of maneuvers. And with some of these classifications, it's really crucial that they do have that space because they need the time to get into the wave, off the bottom, hopefully fit in a maneuver. And previously,
who is in that prime position for takeoff, Dave Williams from South Africa, uses that hand drag to just engage the rail, just gets caught up at the top of that wave and can't make that.
Is going to have the right of way. And so we're going to check this out. That was actually, this is Dave Williams' wave. His nickname Socks. And he's actually a competitor in sit ski. And here we go. We're going to watch this. So Yellow dipped out. He kind of almost let him.
Bigger sets like we were seeing roll through yesterday. Dave Williams, currently in the lead, takes off on his forehand, just drives through that first section. He's now engaging that rail, which is what the judges love to see. You can see that bottom spray coming off of his board as well as he points up to the pier. I know Team South Africa.
And that's something that you don't normally think of. Let's watch that replay. Gets in there. You can see that high tide, that big deep section right there. He really needs to get that weight forward. So you can see how he's really pressing on the nose, trying to keep that thing planing across that soft section. So he's really able to keep connected with that energy by not waiting too far back.
Now we can see that an interference has been marked for Francisco. We'll get back to that explanation in just a moment as Dave Williams is up and riding on his forehand again. That was a steep drop in for him. Now he's caught in the foam and he's doing what he can to just work his board left to right to engage those rails.
And he was on exactly the opposite side of the spectrum there. It was really cool.
As we see some replays, first was Michael in the white and now Dave Williams in the blue. So different positioning on the boards. Love that breakdown of their positioning over the fins. Here you can see Dave's board looks pretty loose under his body, where for our surfer in yellow, Maxime, positioning over those fins has really allowed him to engage. But let's take another look here at that interference.
Yeah, so Red didn't see that Yellow was behind him and
lead to that three-point range because that was a nice critical section. Dave Williams up and riding as well. He's chasing a 5 to take the lead, but Ben, more importantly, if he can increase on that 2.10, he's going to increase the requirement that Michael Foti needs for his last wave to take a second place position.
Yeah, and that will push third and fourth back into that into the repercharge round, or basically counted that as the main turn, and that's the reason they didn't make that requirement, I believe. We've heard the horn.
And this is where Dave Williams was able to increase, so Michael Foti in white was able to get his requirement out of the 3.5 over the 3.01 he needed, but Dave increased his heat total as well with this one. That horn has already...
When we started the campaign, like 20-some years ago, over a quarter century, even when we started, it was impossible. I mean, everybody, okay, my friends, my brother, I say, you know, you're really gonna put your energy in this? You know, let's go surfing.
I never thought surfing would be in the Olympics, period.
We all just looked and rolled our eyes back at, like, come on, Fernando. Surfing will never make it.
I've never actually dreamed of being in the Olympic because surfing wasn't an Olympic sport.
I never thought surfing would be in the Olympic sports.
The Olympics wasn't ever a dream of mine because it wasn't a reality, it wasn't tangible.
It's the biggest event in the world. Fernando is the reason why we're all there.
Yeah, it's like me telling you I'm gonna, you know, swim around the world. 27 years later, he pulled it off.
Wave ski design. So all these different makers are really pushing in the envelope with the materials.
So he's going to have a score to come in to improve on the 2.17. Now Martin Ferreira of South Africa has a paddle there and just can't get into it, but he's looking to reposition himself. That has helped him get into position for this wave. A couple quick paddles there as well, and now uses that paddle just as a break to kind of redirect and set himself up to get out to backline again. So a couple of scores rolling through, and Martin just goes down over the falls.
Yeah, it's interesting as you look at the two different go in and support the bone, insert metal, all sorts of things. So he has, he's finally recovered to where he really kind of punches far deep as you can to get under that wave energy. And these guys are have to deal with the surface only. They're not able to get those boards under the wave. So that's really, it's like a wall hitting you head on.
Exactly. Martin now on a small inside wave.
Yeah, Liv has become a really cool influencer and a name behind parasurfing. She works doing modeling, she does YouTube things, and she's got a little cooking thing on Instagram, which is very cool, and just kind of shows her day-to-day life, but very openly, very good speaker.
Air temperature is and how cold the water temperature is. Every bit of energy that you have in your body that's been stored up is being used and expressed throughout this entire heat.
Yeah, and luckily, I mean, with all the exertion, hopefully they're
3.83 and a 3.0 on the board, and that takes him up into that second place position.
Very well played by Costa Rica.
Very well played by Costa Rica. Red now on his way. And taking a look at our current heat in the lineup.
Yeah, so here we have for Team Spain, Xavier Ayestaran, Johnson Barantes for Costa Rica, Fabricio Passetti for Team Italy, and for South Africa we have Jean-Paul Veaudry.
Our surfer in blue, Jean-Paul from South Africa. Nice direction
for you. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. As we take a look here at our surfer in blue, goes into a great.
They know that mom and the kids are at home watching and wanted to do your best.
And then
3 brought him to the third place position, looking for a 1.10, not a huge requirement, as blue finally finds a nice stretcher here, and so we might have some things changing around with tide out there.
Yeah.
My name is JP Veaudry from South Africa. So my accident happened on the 23rd of May 2009, and I was shooting a wedding, and I decided to take my motorbike. It was such a beautiful evening. Just before I got home, 2 kilometers from my house, someone ran a stop street, hit and run, never been found. When the surgeon told me that he was going to take my leg, the very first thing I thought of was, am I going to surf again? Unless you've actually been there, it's hard to digest, you know, what you can and can't do. But I mean, I was a surfer before my accident, and I wanted to carry on being a surfer, stand-up surfer that is. And I think that's what inspired me to get going. Friends and family said, you know, don't put too much pressure on yourself. I decided to go the other route. I got all my friends, all the media, surfing magazines, they all were there on the beach waiting to see like what would happen with my first wave. I had many quiet moments in the changing rooms, getting ready as everyone is in anticipation. I'm proud to say I got up on my very first wave. I can't even express the feeling, and haven't looked back since. Once you get that first wave, anything's possible. But my friends say I surf better now than before. I'm just chasing life, really, and I start my day with a surf. I spend as much time with my family as possible, just because it could all go in a second, and I want to know that I've got no regrets.
See a variety of techniques from the likes of Darrell Melendez from Costa Rica, Chris Blows from Australia, Jeffrey Mashubouf from France, and Caleb Swanepoel from Republic. Smooth, open face, right-hander. He's up and riding straight to his feet. Quick pop-up, got a nice low line, good speed line, climbing and dropping, good strong cut back, change of direction now. He's looking to pump and reform. Hopefully he's going to get a little reform opportunity here to maybe have one finishing maneuver, but that open face turn was
Pierre Jeffrey, and then representing South Africa, Caleb, drawing some nice lines here. Nice, clean, open face. Once again, you'll always see these surfers want to stay right next to that white water, most critical section in the wave. Commits to kind of coming back on his backhand there through that inside section, and even puts a little bit of pressure on that front leg to carry the momentum. Governing body that was able to work with the IOC to get surfing into the Olympics. And, you know, it was a dream for the Duke to get surfing into the Olympics, and being attacked by a shark, I can only imagine getting back into the ocean after something like
Booth, joined by an absolute legend of para surfing. I've got a former world champion from Brazil, Parata, sitting next to me. An honor to have you here, Parata. I'm going to shake your hand and thank you for all the work you've done for para surfing. You just had a phenomenal heat today. First of all, how are the conditions here at Pismo Beach?
No, thank you for you glad invite me for coming. That's the meeting for all the people. That's the first heat. That's amazing because the waves help a lot, and then I found something for make my surface better. But this beautiful day, all the content is coming straight in for the help everybody. You know, I think the waves perfect day. And that's it. That's good.
And you've been such a role model for para surfers, Surfing Pipeline, but also being at the forefront of the organization, the push with the ISA and the Brazilian Surfing Federation to get surfing in the Paralympics for Los Angeles 2020.
Yeah, I'm starting the adapt surfing world, the ISA a long time ago. I think the first step is start for one DVD. The name is Surfing for All. I think that's the first step, and show all the people it can possible making something. And maybe 20 years ago, and now that's coming true. The Paralympics coming pretty soon. I'm happy for start that the adapt surfing, and I hopefully that everybody he can continue keep in charge for that's coming true for everybody.
And are the Brazilian government now behind para surfing in your country?
Yeah, the new federation, the Civic Surf, he's helped a lot for that. The first year, yeah, the federation is coming, help all the athletes, pay everything. I'm so happy that it starts that new federation starts better for all the athletes from Brazil. It can continue better and better. I hopefully for next years try the ISA and move it to that. Look that's so cute dropping, amazing performance the guys.
Yeah, so a lot of right-handers being ridden in this beautiful conditions here at Pismo Beach. There's our South African, just 17 years of age, Raemunndo Lessing.
So I feel proud. Thanks everyone for supporting me and all my crew behind me as well. They're a crazy gang. Rule Britannia. Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. Thank you so much. Back to the booth, boys.
Axel, if you got me there, I'd like to ask Mark one more question. I was talking to his teammate Hannah, and they've been developing some adhesive grips. Has Mark got any intel on some of the kind of equipment adaptation that they've been really using for Surfing England?
Yes, Sam is asking in the booth if there's been some adaptation, some handles, some grips. Yeah. Can you comment a little bit on that, please?
Yeah. What the grips do is they just give you that extra bit of support so you can hang on. So it gives you the stability as well, and you can sort of help you turn and stuff as well.
The future, I think that's pretty soon coming with the big contests or some invite contests for the different surfers.
And great to see such a strong South African contingent here.
Yeah, that's amazing. South Africa is growing. Every year the team is coming more and more strong. I saw some new competitors and for all different kinds of the division. You see the face. Everybody happy. Oh, look, that's so strong way.
Just in time, our 15-year-old Raemunndo Lessing from Cape Town, South Africa, gets a score on the board, looking to replace a 4.5. Brilliant work from the likes of Roxy Davies, who is one of the team managers for South Africa, to field such an incredible team. Vibrant parasurfing happening in the Durban and Cape Town areas right now here in Force, and it's been an absolute honour, Parata, to have you in the booth. And you're looking forward to the rest of the competition?
Well, thank you. I will stay here for looking for all the athletes and hanging out for everybody, because I love that community, that's perfect people. I love the team. I love all the coaches. I love that kind, that's volunteers. You can help a lot the people in the order.
I'm Dr. Mo Johnson, and I'm an occupational therapist. I teach at the University of St. Augustine for Health Sciences, and I'm also the head international classifier for ISA. I like to serve as much as I can. This past 3 years, I have focused so hard just to help them have that moment again, but not as a soul surfer, because they're not soul surfers. These are professional athletes, so they want to compete. The ultimate goal of classification is that there is an equitable playing field. So when those athletes go out into their contest and they're surfing in their heat, that heat is fair. No one has an unfair advantage over another athlete. So we try our hardest to use these numbers and to classify each athlete so it's accurate. So for the sport of adapted surfing, parasurfing is what we're calling it now, because we want to go to the Paralympics. And in order to go to the Paralympics, we have to be code compliant with the classification structure. We have people from around the world that have different levels of injury and different levels of impairment. So what's fair? And when we go through the classification process, it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, how you surf. We objectively look at each impairment and we measure the same way. So we've done a lot of training with our classifiers, so we all use the exact same method. So for every ISA event, we want to do the classification process to make sure that every athlete is in their appropriate sport class.
On to heat number 5 in this qualifying round 1 of the men prone 2, as we see the legend, reigning world champion, Davi Teixeira from Brazil, surfing against the brilliant Scott Davies, and Jamaica in the house, bringing it to you
this morning, and they are shining.
Live action, Oliver Sinclair from South Africa, opting to go left there, engages the rail, looks like it's going to come ejected there, so big fall, big wipeout. This is the one division safety concern if they do wear the leash, in case it gets wrapped around them in these types of situations. That was a great example. Ika Wilmot out there with him as the assist. As we get a replay of our surfer from blue, what do you think of this?
Yeah, this is where Oliver got that first, wave, and he get into those corners. What we saw there from Scott, kind of cruising in the Cadillac, just enjoying the AC, listening to some tunes. Different lines being drawn there. Great approach by both athletes. One just a little bit more committed in those rails.
47-year-old Ollie Sinclair from Winston Park, KwaZulu-Natal, the area of Durban there, reigning South African champion, diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2004, which caused him to not only lose use of his legs, but also his speech. Excellent broadcaster who's brought you commentary from some of the most brilliant surf events around the world. I grew up loving listening to your work, but to be able to commentate at these types of events, I mean, how much does that mean to you, Todd?
It's super exciting, Sam, and I appreciate
Harbour and absolutely shredding with her opening wave. But this is a replay of our South African surfer from Cape Town. What do you think of this opening ride from our South African, Todd?
Yeah, again, that one kind of shut down a little bit, but a long ride, trying to set that rail to lean both, on the right and the left there, riding it all the way through. I love Team South Africa. They've really posted up out underneath I think it's the second diamond on the pier. I went out there, checked them out, a lot of great energy, and you can see that there as she finishes up that wave with the hand over there.
Thank you so much, Emma. We're going to let you take rest, and we'll see you in the next round.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Cheers, guys. Back to you.
That was absolutely inspiring to hear from Emma there. But up and riding, our Cape Tonian surfer there, redirecting with brilliance. She has got some serious talent, the 35-year-old, looking very good.
Yeah, that one able to move the board around a little bit more and engage those rails a little deeper. So that one should see to get para-surfing into the Paralympics. And we're on a great path to do so. And I encourage all of you to look around a little bit. Just in addition to the broadcast later this afternoon when we wrap up with our live broadcast, there's a lot to learn and a lot to get involved in on isasurf.org.
Well, anyone tuning in from the vibrant Kailichi community in Cape Town will be loving this. I mean, this is brilliant, seeing the performance from Noluthando here. She's got a lot of work rides and she is absolutely buzzing. You can see how stoked she is.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at that red logo on there. It almost looks like it's maybe Virgin Airlines, and that's something as well as this sport continues to evolve and get, more people and more awareness. We see a lot more support. We've heard, Brazil really getting behind their athletes this year from a government standpoint and a funding standpoint. And once again, the more funding and the more opportunities for these athletes, the more that they can inspire others and just continue to grow it. And that, at the end of the day, that's the seed that the ISA has planted.
Well, Corinne from Switzerland has a very inspiring story. She's 37, but age 16, she was diagnosed with FA, which is Friedreich's ataxia, which causes progressive muscle weakness, and she has been traveling a great deal and she's learned to live with this impairment in a brilliant way, and she's based in Zurich and she is absolutely delighted to be here surfing at the 2022
there. That hey, these are awesome people out there that have a ton of talent, and it's exciting to watch, it's exciting to be a part of. And that was something I learned the first year I worked here was, at the end of the day, they are athletes and that's how they want to be treated.
Absolutely. As we see the team effort there, it's important to recognize that the prone surfers can appoint 2 surfers in this sport class to assist, the pusher and the catcher, as we see the replay here. What do you think of this, Todd?
Yeah, once again, a nice transition down the face, solid. And you look, it's catching up, so you got what we call a double up right here, and actually makes it down the second one, but the bottom drops out so quick on that second opportunity, or second section there on the double.
25 seconds
Watch the double
remaining.
up.
Oh, big opportunity for a big drop. Not quite made, but she's in second position and it's not an elimination. She's hoping to carry 2 big scores after both qualifying rounds to book her spot in the elimination semi-finals, but this wave will count. This is interesting. Will that count? Because she's caught that wave without assistance.
But I don't think it will count.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to better the 4.20. I could be wrong, but I think more importantly, that really showed me that she understood how waves, really move and transition. Because at first she was laying flat in that prone position. She knew that if she arched her back in case that really did lurch up, it would help to keep that nose from piercing, and really had a nice transition there. So all on her own, very, very well done.
Wow, that was phenomenal. So it's just been such an inspiring competition, and it's going to continue because we're going to be moving into the women's visually impaired, the VI2 classification, round 1. There's going to be 4 qualifying heats. Me and Tom Klein, we're going to remove ourselves from the booth, and entering is going to be Shannon Hand. I've got something very exciting to announce, but I'm going to let you find out. You've got to hang in and see who's going to be in the booth, because this young lady might well be the poster woman of Paralympics at Los Angeles 2028. Stay with us to find out who it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll be right back.
So honored to represent my country, at the end of the day, and it's something super special.
Well, here we go into her first wave. Our surfer in blue, Michelle McFarlane from South Africa. She is in the water up against Melissa Reed of England.
Forward flow. They're both incredible athletes, though.
And wave from our South African competitor, Michelle. Maybe to take on surfing.
Yeah, it's such a crazy story. Every time I tell it, it doesn't even seem like mine. I grew up in Pennsylvania, pretty much landlocked. Up here, it's a little different, but you have to get used to the pylon situation, and paddling next to a pier can be intimidating. And Ling is out there as well. I always know it's her because she always has
that control that she maintains over her equipment.
No, I love how low she gets too. She has a really good style, very confident. But Yeah, I've been surfing Oceanside a lot, and Ling wears a red jersey that I believe says Blind Surfer. It's a way for people
cleaner line to paddle towards the pier, but if you get caught in it when one of those big closeouts rolls through, then it's kind of hectic. Michelle McFarlane riding on the inside for Team South Africa. She has put together some great waves.
And, as you just said, something that's absolutely mind-blowing was breaking news coming into this event.
Non-elimination, there's 2 opportunities in these qualifying rounds to get your best 2 waves that you would carry through to the semi-final knockout stage. As we see David Lewis up and right.
5 words, it's very clear as far as what those words are. For one thing, the love of surfing and just enjoying it out there, as we see a very late takeoff there for Sabelo.
Wow, that was a big movement that the RSA have achieved. Is incredible as we see Sabelo late drop, takes the nosedive. That was a trick.
I'm going to be honest, I definitely questioned what he, at that time, and you heard Bob McKnight in the movie, who was the CEO of Quicksilver, said we thought Fernando was absolutely crazy. There is absolutely no way surfing is going to get to
social responsibility for Optus Enterprise. He was born in 1978.
Friend, but also, growing up in the United States. Kelly Slater is going to be 51 in February, but at places like Chopu, he's still arguably, if not the best in the top.
Brazil surfs against Jack Johnson from Australia, but up and riding right now is Asande Sibisi from South Africa. His spotter is absolutely stoked with that ride.
Back and see was the maneuver completed. Kind of just when they need to see the subtleties or catch up on the action. Catching up on the action we will right here was a couple replays. Red goes up and over, and then our surfer here in blue representing South Africa takes off on the forehand, getting a nice little inside reform, kind of keeping the board working a little bit there, rail to rail, and he kicks out cleanly. So a midfield wide.
Yeah, fair enough. You were also in cycling. You mentioned you wanted to be a part of a Paralympic through cycling, but now surfing is heading in that direction. So we're aiming for LA 2028. How would that be for you?
And board choice. Recognize anything, the relationship with me and the board being ridden?
Longboard?
Absolutely, a longboarder in the house. Shigeru from Japan gets a 3 and a 2.7. He's out there in the driver's seat. Miguel Flavio got that big, powerful turn, but only gets a 3 for that. I actually thought that would go a bit higher. I thought that was pretty critical surfing, but he's backed that up with a 2.27. He's got more time, 9 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Jack Johnson has got that 2.67 and that 2.27, and Asande Sibisi from South Africa has that 2.
I apologize, but she was saying how one of her sponsors had made some adhesive handles, because most of the handles that are put on these boards, Sam, are put on with actually like an FCS fin
and that's what I find really interesting, is the crossover with the athletes here who have already been Paralympians, as we see a beautiful replay of our South African surf. And of course, all the energy, insight and inspiration that those Paralympians can now put to surfing, so that we make sure that surfing's in the Paralympics as well.
Well, you being a competitor, and then here on the Pacific it sets, and so that's when in the afternoon we get it. Look at this, late takeoff.
Yeah, loads of rides being ridden, so this might change the situation. A few scores to be dropped. Good energy from the South African team. I imagine our Brazilian surfer Miguel is still going to be out there in the lead in first position, but once again, reference that this is non-elimination, building up your 2 best scores. What do you think of this top line?
Yeah, once again, great read of the wave, finding himself, positioning himself to actually get down the line and gets it off the top. You saw that. That was what we call in the surf world a no-claim claim, looking towards the beach and just kind of standing with a firm stance. Just never had to say anything, but they said a lot.
So replay, South Africa up and riding, looking strong. 17-year-old Asande Sibisi. What a joy to witness him here at this event.
Soldiers haven't stormed beaches with this intensity since 1944. AMP Surf, rehabilitating through surfing.
Incredible surfing coming up. We've got Matt Formston from Australia in the visually impaired 2 classification. Round 1, 3 qualifying heats. Matt, one of the icons of parasurfing and an incredible surfer. He's surfing in the white singlet. The spotter there is not allowed to touch or push the surfers into the waves. It's just a type of communication that they're able to do within the rule book that helps these visually impaired surfers choose the wave they want to ride on. Matt kicks off with a 4.0. We'll get to catch up on that very soon. We've got our surfer from South Africa kicking off with a 1.0. I'm Sam Bleakley, back in the booth. What a joy to watch the mighty Matt Formston, fresh from surfing big waves at Nazaré. What do you think, Todd Klein?
Yeah, this is a warm-up lap for him. This guy is no stranger to this event. And, you know, as you just said, you know, something that's absolutely mind-blowing was breaking news coming into this event for Matt, was recently riding arguably the biggest wave in the world over in Nazaré, which is part of Portugal.
Round of the Prone 1 classification for the women. This is an absolute beauty of a heat because we've got 2 Spaniards and 2 South Africans. Eridana Barnes from Spain, Paloma Anate from Spain, Tracy McKay from South Africa, and Alulutho Tshoba, also from South Africa. Now, this is exactly where that priority system really comes into benefit. When you've got 4 surfers, but also only representing 2 different countries.
Yeah, otherwise you could have, you know, kind of that team up on the other competitors out there so that they can't get a wave. Old school, that used to happen all the time, especially the Hawaiians.
Absolutely, I've seen
a couple of whole bras, you ain't going.
I've seen many competitions around the world where the priority system that we use now would have really benefited back then, but
this one, and back to live action.
That was great surfing from Paloma. Tracy McKay from Durban, South Africa, on the rail, engaging the rail, accelerating, looking, seeing where she wants to readjust. Turns off to the left there. Big carving turn to get another little bit of acceleration and trim speed, sporting some nice bright spray on the deck of the board. I love that. I mean, that word we commonly use in the wave riding.
Somehow it doesn't surprise me.
But gnarly, I mean, that is exactly what we've got to enjoy and look forward to. I loved hearing from Catherine. I love those analogies with the skate culture and the fact that she, when you skate, when you wheelchair BMX, when you go to the pool, you know you're going to eat it. The currents of the ocean, it has that more forgiving opportunity. Yes, you can hurt yourself on a big wipeout, but we wipe out the surfers regularly in every session, and 95% of those wipeouts are harmless.
Well, it might have been Dana Cummings. I'm not sure. One of our athletes said, you know, the ocean is probably the safest place for us. And you know, so if you're out
surfing, that we could put her in the final, I feel as if Sam Bloom and Sarah out there in the front, Catherine Beattie looking really strong. But for me already, Paloma looks like somebody who could make it all the way to that medal contention to go for that gold, that silver, that bronze, and that copper.
Well, she's got a good wave selection. She's drawn some good lines. And I do think, though, in order to make that final, she's just going to have to elevate a little bit. But this is the first round. Here we go. Looking at this one here for our other South African, Tracy, in the yellow. Gets a couple of maneuvers there, but then gets pushed out the back.
Yeah, she looked a little bit frustrated that she wasn't able to just keep that trim speed going. But a nice takeoff there from Tracy, and she'll add to that.
Not the way she wanted to start here, but to your point, she will have another opportunity to get 2 solid scores on the board. And here we go. Beautiful wave for our South African in yellow.
Durban, Tracy McKay, nice fast right-hander. That wave just hitting that little section there. So from Durban, as we see the surfers in the next heat on the way out and get the chance to analyze this replay of Tracy.
Yeah, so it very well could. Better the 2-3-3. Nice drop there, and that was pretty much it. It was just the drop, and you had a unique kind of high road, low road. We refer to it as a double.
The teams around supporting in these early mornings as we've got a hitting lineup.
Yeah, so here we have previous champion Veaudry Feige for Canada in red, Emmanuel Lessing for France, Similo Dlamini for South Africa, and Michelle Eastman for the USA in blue.
You know, on the first heats for the women's seal division, but the difference between riding those twin fins and the quad fins then.
Yeah, so we had seen Emanuele in her earlier heat in low tide conditions, really stretching down the line walls with not a lot of open face potential. And we did see that quad fin that she's on, which is sort of a different choice for many of these male divisions that go to is usually the twin fin. However, people like Mono Stewart, he's always on a quad, and if you're going to look at anyone's previous results, it looks like she's opted for something bigger.
And a paddle there from Victoria, takes off deep in the foam. Similo as well, both of them up, and Similo goes down quick. Victoria still riding, and now looking for some redirect. She took off in a really powerful section of that wave, and she's finally been able to get herself towards that pocket. Nice deep cutback as well to add in that point of difference for the judging panel. And she'll now have the long paddle back out. She's going to put us
Surface will look as an air section or something oncoming to do something really, really dynamic, because you've never lost the speed from the takeoff.
6 minutes on the clock.
You see that board getting used to that extra length. It didn't redirect like her other board that she used in the previous heat. It seems like she was, the first couple of waves, she was really just kind of getting the feel and getting to know that board again. And she's had so much fun on her new board, she hasn't wanted to get off it.
So good. Love this wave. I mean, she got so much distance on it. She put in multiple turns. This is our Canadian surfer who now will have 2 7-point rides counting towards her total to qualify for the finals. As we take a look at the South African, Similo with a quick paddle, unable to get into it. And she'll have herself on that more inside position though as she works her way back onto that equipment.
She's got a 0.30. That last one of Victoria, so she bumped up her top score from the previous heat was a 7.33. Now she has a 7.
Held on to control throughout that entire wave with the kick out as well. And Similo working hard to get up to her knees, just unable to get there. Sometimes with
smoother, it's going to rush on the board, and sometimes that takes just a matter of a couple inches of movement up towards the nose.
Well, great performances as we see Similo up to her knees with the claim. That was an awesome wave and getting back onto the boards safely. So we'll be seeing all 3 of these women with an extra couple of hands out in the water to help them out. Taking a look at the lineup then.
Alulutho from Spain, Hendrikz from England, and Noluthando Makalima for South Africa.
It's going to be a great title this week. So there is a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, but that competitive tenacity is going to come out in those finals because they want to win their 4th world title. As we see Noluthando on a great looking wave to start off. Great push from her team on the outside. Feeling super stoked, and you can see her there really leaning into those rails. Getting that board on full angle and sliding straight past her catcher on the inside because she just has so much speed. Whereas her nickname is, she is from Cape Town in South Africa, and one of the spots that she's been surfing a lot at home is using a soft, low beach break. Now on the conditions when we've got it on the tide, which is very similar, but these sort of conditions would be exactly what she's used to.
That's excellent. I really like how much she's really bringing her head over the rail, making sure that thing turns. Nice flow and very cool shaped board. One thing on the interview.
Now with another chance, so taking off a little bit deeper on this opening ride and already getting those turns thrown in. See her using all of her weight, shifting side to side to engage that rail. Now getting a really solid turn as she shoots once again straight past her catcher because she just has so much speed and she is looking so comfortable on that equipment. Another incredible ride as she finishes off on the inside, and activist for cerebral palsy. She's an athlete and a writer as well. It's been great to have her in the scene this week.
This is with the flag. That's my buddy Asande. We've been talking to him a bunch, and we've been talking about getting one of his buddies at home a new board, and so that's really exciting. Hopefully
for that opening section.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's really learned from those first couple waves where's the end of the line where you want to start fading it back. She's kind of washed off any mistake that she had in the first. I really would look forward to working with that company because I think they're doing great things.
All right, one last wave here for Nolu, and she put together a great heat, a couple of 5s on the board. Scores in for last of Hannah was a 4.9, so she did well to increase her heat total on her last 2 waves, but it's Nolu who takes away second, and Sarah Amagro drops in another 8-point ride, an 8.67 to better the heat total. So that 8.67 is going to join up with the 9 points.
We've all experienced obstacles and setbacks, but what if you never even got a chance to get in the game? That's where the Challenge Athletes Foundation comes in, providing individuals with physical disabilities adaptive sports equipment, coaching,
keep pushing,
and competition expenses, because everyone deserves to run, bike, swim, play, compete, and move. The Challenge Athletes Foundation is empowering lives through sport.
Dynamic, but watch out, ladies and gentlemen, because this guy on your screen, Freddie Maramon, born with amniotic band syndrome, which is the same condition that Davi Teixeira has, is electric.
Is that red?
Oh no, this is actually Raemunndo Lessing from South Africa. Well done, Todd. Yeah, so I got a little bit excited.
No, it's all good. It happens. You know, we call so many heats, but I was looking, I was trying to digest it, and I follow your lead quite often, but I started to jump out of your car at that one.
Oh, I love that, Todd. Teamwork. It's a teamwork operation as we see Ollie Sinclair out of South Africa again on a beautiful, nice right-hander. 2 South Africans in this heat. Super busy. Lots of scores waiting to be dropped as we get the replay now on our surfer from South Africa. Looking good.
Yeah, how are we pronouncing that? Raemunndo?
Yep, known as Ray from Khayelitsha in Cape Town, age 15.
So I talked to Ray earlier. Ray was in that opening ceremony where he kind of kicks it off for Team South Africa, and he was down there rooting the team on with the horn and excited to have another opportunity out here. This being,
he lives by the motto, you must never give up, no matter how hard the situation may be. The Khayelitsha community in Cape Town, I've been there myself, it's a vibrant place full of music and joy and culture, and I know they will be singing and really behind the South African team.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I was down there speaking with one of the women from the South African team, and Ray and one of his other teammates were just casually singing behind us, just enjoying themselves down there at the water's edge, watching their teammates. So, yes, they love their music, they love singing.
And Ollie Sinclair is from the Durban area, so it seems like this South African team is built largely of surfers from the Cape Town and the Durban areas, ultimately 2 of the hot houses of a surfer from Colombia. But this is our South African surfer, Ray, charging on a big overhead wall. What do you think of that, Todd?
Yeah, solid wave here for Ray, trying to make his way on the left now back towards the pier, and then leaning back on that right rail to head back down to the right side and constantly engaging the right rail, the left rail, just kind of doing a little bit of work through the midsection there. Both of them used to get onto their lower limbs and kind of more in that heel style, if you will, and really had to make a big adjustment to now go into this prone division because they do need the assistance to get into the waves. So in order to fall into this classification, they have to be in that prone position. Beautiful left-hander right here for Ray.
Brilliant, isn't it? Wow. Barreling over him there. What a great wave to paddle into there. Beautiful setup. Really nice, fast, trim line there. Excellent surfing. Readjusts from the long, fast right, getting the connection to the right on the inside, and that was beautiful, Todd. What do you think?
Yeah, that was awesome. Once again, being a goofy footer, I love watching these lefts coming at the pier here, and I know that Ray is going to be stoked kicking out of that one. That's going to be a great one. He had a 4.17 on the opener. Look for that one to go north of that, and once again, a great team effort there between him and his pusher to get onto that left-hander right in the pocket. coming out of the gate. Sorry.
Absolutely, and I used the wrong adjective. I used the adjective paddle. It's push. This is a team effort, and that's the very interesting thing, is the communication between the surfer and the pusher. Are you ready? Are we in position? But also the art of the push, just getting the momentum right. You don't want to overcook the takeoff. You just want to allow the surfer to then control the drop and engage the rail and be in complete control of the ride.
Yep, just doing a little math over here. I got my shoes off trying to do some additions, so bear with me here for a second, Sammy.
8 minutes, 9 seconds remaining. So Freddie Daniel Maramon is out there in the lead. That's 7.33 and the 6.33. Angel Curiel from Spain. He had a car accident in Galicia, the 43-year-old. After the car accident, he became a quadriplegic after a fracture of his C4 in his spinal cord. Surfers are getting scored out of 10, and they're carrying their top 2 scores. But because there are 2 qualifying rounds, how this system works is the top 12 surfers in this category carry those top 2 scores to create 12 surfers that move into the knockout quarterfinals, as we get to see the replay of our South African on a beautiful left-hander.
Yeah, what a great trim there across that section on that left, and then redirecting going back right. You see the South African flag flying down there at the bottom of the monitor, and you see the smile on the face as he kicks out on the inside right there in front of his catcher. Beautiful ride there for our South African.
From Khayelitsha, Cape Town, Ray, 15 years of age. He's absolutely buzzing there. You can see the joy and the energy erupting. Really happy with that ride. Puts him up into 3rd position, 4.93 and a 4.17. What you got on the numbers, Tom?
I'll get to those in a moment as we see Ollie now, his fellow countryman, up and riding on a right-hander. Looks like the whitewater's going to come down. Kind of does a little turn underneath of it. Now engages the rail, redirecting, heading back towards the pier. A little bit of an off the top, and then finishing up on the inside, just like we saw Ray right there in front of the catcher. Catcher will grab and then push him right back out. So we'll crunch some numbers here in a moment. 5 minutes to go here on the clock, but the the South Africans definitely raising their scoreline.
And raising the standard. 14 para surfers in the South African team. Maximum we can have is 18, 9 men, 9 women, as we get the replay here of Ollie. Beautiful engagement there. Watch this big sweeping turn there. Look at the roll in the rail arc, and again getting that board back in change of direction by engaging that rail. You really have to appreciate the degree of difficulty in some of these direction changes. They're not easy to do, and there's a combination of many elements that you need to apply to the right part of the board to allow it to change direction without flipping the board over upside down and wiping out.
Yeah, well, us as able-bodied surfers, there's those things where we can do certain maneuvers that will flip the board over. It's no different when you're in the prone position. You have to be precise with when you apply the pressure to those rails, and otherwise you'll find yourself putting too much on it and projecting straight up in the lip and then getting pitched over and or catching that outside edge and going over. So, that's why these guys are the world's best and competing here for a gold medal.
Ray on fire on a nice right-hander here. Look at this wave, glassy ahead of him, engaging that rail beautifully. Massive trim speed. Is there going to be an opportunity for a maneuver? Yes, nice sweeping turn. Redirecting, now going left on this wave after that long, fast right section. Looking to replace a 4.17. Immediately, my instinct says that's going to whitewash both of those scores in the high fours, and I think it will be a carrying score for Ray.
It's going to go into the scoreline. How high will it elevate the scoreline? We'll wait and see. The left he had a moment ago was pretty beautiful. Nice trim, right in the pocket, a lot of speed, momentum. I think the difference with Ray is he's just going to need to lean a little bit harder on those rails. The judges want to see that commitment. Again, I want to say, a big shout out to his pusher, putting him on a beautiful right-hander this time. A moment ago, great wave selection on the left. Now we see him on the right. You see nice open face there in front of him, just drawing a nice trim down the line, but you see a couple of little sections there that he might have been able to lean into and kind of come off the top. That's what he's going to need to do in order to make those quarterfinals.
But I like that from Ray, looking really strong. So he's looking to oust one of those scores in the high fours. It'll drop very soon, so keep your eyes tuned onto the screen. But right now, live action, Ollie Sinclair, also from South Africa, from Durban. Good rail engagement as we see out back on Angel Curiel from Veaudry in Spain, the 43-year-old. Off your screen now, going left, as we see also Freddie Maramon coming on. It's all happening here, Todd. Pretty much most of the surfers up and riding on these waves.
So right there is a prime example with our 5 judges on the panel. You've got a head judge down.
That he really needs these carrying scores, but look at this from Ollie Sinclair. He's looking to replace a 3.97, engaging that rail, accelerating, looking for that readjustment. Then watch this sweeping direction change there as he gets a little bit more trim speed through the inside. He has to kind of duck and weave through the rest of the team. Is busy out there in the prone to assist classification, but nominal surfing keeps him in second position. 20 seconds remaining. Freddie Maramon, the mighty Colombian former world champion, 17-year-old hyper gymnastic, hyper athletic skateboard legend as well. But we must say, what a great performance from the 2 South Africans. Part of a strong team. Ray from Khayelitsha in Cape Town and Ollie from Durban. They've really flown the flag, Todd.
Yeah, it's awesome to see again as
Katsukura surfing for Japan. He's up and riding right now. This is the stand 3 category.
Not only on the competitive side, but in the big wave arena, elevating.
So up and riding now, Caleb Swanepoel from South Africa. Nice right-hander, open face. Caleb had a shark incident which caused amputation and loss of gold medal.
Yeah, Noah Michi carrying over his scores from the opening round of a 5.9 and a 5.67 as we see Caleb up and riding. He's already got a 3.5 and a 2.33. His lowest score comes...
Continuing that discussion about surfers pushing the boundaries, of course, all of the surfers on the covers of the mainstream magazines, because that's how we will get parasurfing in the Paralympics in LA 2028. Not just the
Africa, they go to the Pacific side. Not nearly as many go to the Caribbean side because everything has to align to get the swell in there. It's usually more involved with the tropical storms and the hurricanes that generate the swells. And I told him, hey, I had an opportunity to go over there. What a beautiful part of your country. And more importantly, what a great wave you've got there at Salsa Brava. And as soon as I said that, he goes, you've surfed there? And I go, yeah. He goes, wow. He goes, that's my dream to surf out there one day. He goes, so heavy, And I go, yeah, it is. But, it's great that he has that, he wants to aspire to surf those big barreling type waves like that down in his home country of Costa Rica.
Foundation in Cape Town have been really doing a lot of work for parasurfing in South Africa. Live action up and riding. Our surfer from Japan, now Michi, he takes a fall on that.
Rata is a goofy footer and Dariel is the regular footer. I think, we saw where the bar was set.
Score to drop for Naomichi from Japan. Caleb Swanepoel in second with a 4 and a 3.50. He's got a nice fast wall there. Good.
They are trying to keep themselves in that top 8, moving through into the next round. We're currently in heat number 3. Welcome back to the action. JP Veaudry straight up to his feet and getting some early action. Nice little corner opening up in front of him. Great carve back into the section. Slower pace waves we have this morning, and beautiful placement up into the lip to finish off.
Beautiful, bro. Thank you so much. Back to the booth, guys.
Woo-hoo. Great to hear from Raphael. And up and riding, JP, he's already got a 6-point heat total on the board from that opening ride. And he's going to kick out
And yeah, that's pretty amazing.
That was some incredible balance. Now let's take a look at last of JP.
JP, I love this, how he's just keeping this nice flow. You see that board's got a lot of glide to it, and even with this kind of slower, a little bit softer conditions, it's making speed and was able to come off the bottom.
Balance and just gained so much distance down the line for his last wave. Now JP straight up into the lip, hits the section, and he's looking to build on that 3.33 that he put down as his backup score.
Yeah, it's really great to see because we saw previous all these new faces. We've been really lucky to have really deep and extensive bios as we watch Jean-Paul Veaudry.
JP with a great carve back to start, setting that line, and now just timing out that next section, which is really important today because these waves are so soft. He's able to hit that in section and redirect, gives the claim as well, as you can hear the South Africans cheering from the pier. Looking to hold on to the lead, but we're still waiting for that last score of Team Japan to roll through.
Yeah, so we really don't know what the situation is until we see that second score for red, and I believe that second wave of red was
means that our surfer in red will need a 4.11 or a 4.17 in order to take away that first place position.
And we have Pacific blue, gorgeous scene of Pismo Beach. Sam Bleakley back in the booth with Todd Klein. Absolutely gorgeous conditions, Todd.
Yeah, beautiful conditions. Tell us a little bit about the classification here in these semifinals.
So it's para surfing prone 2. Any surfer who rides a wave in a prone position that does require assistance in the water, paddling into a wave and getting back on the board safely. So you can see that visual representation of the variety of impairments that these athletes might experience, such as triple limb amputation on the first one on your left, as we see Sada from Spain with the assist. But watch this woman, she is absolutely sensational. 4th year degree student, but right now on your screen it's our South African surfer looking really good on that left-hander, engaging that rail, using those handles to carve that board, swinging left and right as the rest of her team make sure that she's safely going to get back into the lineup position after this wave. Great scores dropped for both red and blue, but watch out because Sada from Spain, when we get the opportunity to see how she went, she has been an absolute standout of this classification, Todd. She's been getting
one range. She is definitely looking like a favorite. Then our South African answering right back on her first wave. She takes the left. The majority of the scores have been coming on the right. She elects to go against the grain and get the left and makes the most of it. Redirected back. You can see the stoke on her face. That board, a lot of foam there. I've identified this board's been utilized by a few of the South African team members. So,
score, it looks like it's a good one. She's got a 7, she's got a 5.86, but it's our South African surfer up and riding on this beautiful big overhead wave there, carving back off to the left, feeling the vibes, bringing the Cape Town spirit. Massive respect to the Roxy Davies Foundation out of Cape Town and all the work they have been doing to bring wave riding opportunities to these women. Look at that ride, Todd. That's an absolute smoker.
Yeah, awesome. I've got a fantastic photo that I was able to get this morning. I was catching up with the South African team. The vibe amongst everybody, but I for whatever reason, I love the energy that the South African team has really brought to our continued growth year after year with the different nations, as well as record-breaking numbers for the athletes. Our South African, right? Those are things.
Yeah, and also with the sit class, so there you have
athletes in these different classifications that really rise up, and you saw it right there on that last wave as he was engaged on every turn. Threw it up into the lip 2 times as we see his competitor now, Doug, in the white out the back. He gets a couple of turns, sets the fins free a little bit there on the whitewater slide, and now redirected back and kicking out. But Kizu opening up strong.
And Spike Kane was telling me how in the early days of the parasurfing movement,
it'll be whoever performs best and executes the best heat on the day, which is the best part of it. You don't want it to be an easy path through, so I love it.
Well, fantastic performance, and like you said, pushing the progression of where women's surfing is going in your Prone 2 division. It's been unreal to be able to witness. Anything you'd like to say to the Aussies tuning in and the Aussies standing behind you?
Yeah, I think once again...
Para medalist as well, as we see our surfer from South Africa, Doug Hendrikz, and again sliding tail, releasing fins and coming back out with a beautiful bit of surfing, but recognizing that that wave didn't have much scoring potential yet.
On my head, and she's leaning into it to keep that board from flipping on her. Speaking of flipping, right out the back we hear, out the back here we see Doug going up and over. He'll get right back on and get out there.
Second position, but again it's carrying those top two scores from both rounds. And Lisa Franks didn't have a very strong combination in the qualifying round one, so these scores will matter for her. So she's still in with a shot to get to the final. I don't think.
Surfers coming up in the first heat. So out in the lineup we have the legendary Spike Payne of England, Juan Camacho of Costa Rica, and Martin Ferreira of South Africa.
Yeah, so Spike Payne is.
So great wave from Juan and Martin as well, getting his opening or second ride on the board. He's got a 1.50 to start things off. Angling down the line, looking for that redirect now. A couple paddles here as he's nearly catching up to that double up just in front. And he will kick out.
I'm very, very happy to be here right now.
That's amazing, bro. We're going to let you say hi to your friends back home.
Yeah, I'd love to say hi to my friends and family back home and back in the world. And especially to my grandma, my mamie. Ma mamie, je t'embrasse fort et je te dis à bientôt.
No worries. Thanks, bro. Back to the booth.
Great performance. Martin now with a paddle, putting himself in position for that left, but he's actually going to take a look off at the right, favoring that side and really laying into it. Wave riding equipment can provide to be able to understand that equipment is such a crucial part of the sport.
And also to have a sport that you need that train and exercise for. Keep your brands. But on the back of that, you have the OWL sticker, which is a paddle and fin company. And it's great to see all of
Costa Rican is putting himself in a great position to hold on to that qualification.
Yeah, so we see Martin Ferreira going for a little different one here. And wow, very interesting center fin. Look at that. Looks like a seagull wing. And
Surfer in yellow is going to have a go on this one. Martin favors that right and really is just loving the feel of it. Nice couple paddles, and he'll just get stuck on the flip around, so he'll have to flip that board back and put himself back.
Management by all of these guys, making sure that they can get an extra score and fit in all the waves they can in this 20-minute heat.
Now this is a great wave from Martin. We saw Spike get a left, Martin now on the right, and for Martin he's finally found that open face, because his last couple of waves he took off in a great position, but instead of taking off on the left that was made for an actual surfboard in that sitting position. As we take a look at some live action here with Michelle McFarlane from South Africa. Great wave to start things off. That'll be her first score.
On top of staying on your game and being the strongest competitors for your country's team.
And it also speaks to the development of parasurfing within South Africa. That from last year's qualifications, now this year there are new surfers in that mix. Some of those that have been training differently, and so you're seeing that Rico as well, finding herself a second left. Now she opened up on an 8-point rise, so has set the standard 0.64 to get herself into that second place position. There she is with a quick up and down.
Stay as close to the rider so you can keep that communication. And yeah, unfortunately, Michelle, that nose goes down and you're seeing very little rocker.
Allison, because we got zeros next to her name for her first heat on scores. And now for her to be paddling out.
Spotter to either use that priority. And here we go. This looks like it's going to be a good one for Michelle. I like the flow on this. Just stay with it. Got her hands off.
In the finals at the very end, got himself in a situation where he got an interference, unfortunately for him.
Parasurfing for a number of years from Abersoch in North Wales. He's won everything.
Way out in front.
Yeah, an interference slipped it down. So like you said, that's been on his mind for a long time, but up and riding right now is Dave Williams from South Africa. Nice right-hander, good bit of open face, nice bit of speed, good trim, readjusts, a nice little line. Not as dynamic as what we're seeing from Llewellyn Williams, but still a small semi-final. We'll have to wait and see as we look to see a seal out there in the lineup. Looks to be a seal to me. What do you think, Todd?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of leaned forward to look. It looked like it might just be kelp, but how about this right-hander right here for Dave, streaming down the line in the pocket.
Water, I felt I was born again. Surfing really revived him, and he's now at the front line going for gold. But what about this replay of Dave Williams? Pocket rocket in the section.
The other surfers that were coming up, that's why we're seeing the level that we're seeing here in 2022. Just unbelievable equipment and performances. Everything is elevating here in 2022.
Absolutely, and two great rides there, Todd. I mean, I love what a tube ride. It needs to be slightly bigger conditions to really recognize the degree of difficulty.
Yeah, no doubt. That one really is not going to go into the scoreline. We refer to those as surfers as a Jedi barrel. They felt so. I think there's moments of opportunity, even though the conditions are getting lower out there on the tide. I think we're going to see the scores continue to be, opportunity to elevate the scoreline.
And Llewellyn also offering a lot of opportunities for other surfers to compete by hosting an annual Welsh Adaptive Championships on the event, as well as competing in the event. Live action, Dave Williams from South Africa up and riding to a place of 3.67, moving down into those last 2 minutes. These two can have you in with us today, and you've of course got more surfing to come. Are you looking forward to the rest of the competition, perhaps going for a gold medal?
He's really wearing the white jersey and our 7th seat just on the outside of the fence, but looking in right now is Ayala.
So this is any surfer who rides a wave in a prone position that does not require assistant paddling into a wave and getting back on the board. So that's in contrast to that provisional running order, the words final coming up. So we could be getting on to the medal moments tomorrow as we see Lulu up and riding from South Africa, from Claremont, and I can see the South African flag. She's absolutely charging.
Yeah, Lulu making the most of the conditions out there right now. We'll talk a little bit more about the conditions tomorrow. We will be crowning world champions. We'll be giving out gold medals for those world titles. Unbelievable.
Which is really exciting as we get the replay of Lulu, Miss Lulu, the 15-year-old from Claremont, KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, of the Durban area, carving back and forth. Beautiful surfing on the bright first heat of qualifying round 2.
Yeah, cheers, Sam. You're going to keep the 2 scores from here. And second of all, you take... Yeah, cheers, Sam. Let's try this again. Hey, Lulu. Well, you're going to keep both scores from this round, so you replace already what you did in the previous round. You're the youngest surfer in this class, and you take the heat win over world champ Sam Bloom. How does that feel?
I'm so excited to win this pro division because it's my first time in this Pro 1 division, and I didn't train for it, and I won for the first time. I trained for my other division, and I'm so excited that I won.
Absolutely. Go ahead and share a bit. How is your surfing life back home?
Back home when I was surfing, I used to be prone to assist, and when I was classified here, I was classified as prone 1 for the first time, and this is so fun, and I didn't expect that I would come out first.
Team South Africa has been showing a lot of support. How is that behind you?
I am so happy for the support because they really boosted me, and especially Doug, like, Lulu, paddle. I like it, how he did it.
No worries. Any last words for people watching you back home in Lulu?
Thank you all for supporting me, and I love y'all. Mwah.
Axel.
No worries. We have a question from the booth. Yeah?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
I've heard the South African team singing, beautiful voices. Is that one of her hobbies, or maybe if it's not, what are her hobbies outside of surfing?
Todd Klein, it says South Africans have been singing all along, beautiful voices. Is that also one of your hobbies, or what are your hobbies aside from surfing?
Besides from surfing, it's to sing and dance and dance when I'm like lonely, and like if the beat is inside my vibe, yeah. And also showering. Don't worry, my bathtub has a lot of music of me singing.
There you have it, guys. Back to the booth. Thank you so much, Lulu.
Oh, thanks so much, Miss Lulu. That was well worth the wait. For me, that was the best post-heat interview of the event so far, by far.
Great stuff right there, Sam. And that, what she just said, basically she has music playing in her heart all the time, and I can feel that. I can feel that vibe, that music coming from them. When you get around them, I took a photo with, but there's something about the South African team, the energy that they bring. It's beautiful.
Yep, 14 surfers represented here at the Para Surfing World Championships. One of them right now, Tracy McKay, up and riding. We just heard from 15-year-old Lulu from Clermont, Durban. She took that last win, but currently in the lead, it's Sarah Betancourt, 2 times world champion.
3-3. Her opening round, she opened up with a 6.8 and a 6.17. So she has bettered the 6.17 with the current 6.83 in this heat, flying up with an orange jersey. We have multiple volunteers that are here from sun up to sundown behind.
Extra gold medal, Kizu from Brazil. He was just absolutely on fire, wasn't he?
Yeah, he, for me, he is extremely exciting to watch in that division because, you know, we all love surfing and we all love the different approaches that our surfers take.
We've still got Saturday and Sunday to get through with further champions being crowned.
Yeah, and the swell is going to continue to increase. So, you know, bigger waves, bigger scores generally because the degree of difficulty elevates.
And gold medals will be crowned tomorrow, and let's celebrate some of the day's action with the highlights here live from Pismo Beach for the 2022 ISA World Parasurfing Championship hosted by AmpSurf.
Good night.